Welcome back to episode 99 of the 𝙃𝙚𝙡𝙡 podcast. I, again, am Tom.
I'm Joe as well.
There you go. See how I turned it, looked at you? I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
you're
lined up
turning
like
the
that.
opposite way.
Okay, never mind. It'll show up on mine because I'm the one recording, so it doesn't matter.
True.
Anyway, today is my album and drink of choice. So today I have brought with me the album 𝙃𝙚𝙡𝙡𝙡 by the Menzingers, their 2019 release. That one right there, right over here is that one.
Yep.
And to pair with that, I have brought the spiked Arnold Palmer's, the 5% original, the original, half iced tea, half lemonade.
It does say malt beverage with natural flavors.
Malt breakfast sounds good too.
Yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with an AP, an Arnie Palmy.
An Arnie Palmy.
What size can do you have?
I got the tinier ones. I got the slim cans.
I got your motherfucking big
boy. So actually,
boy.
Right, that is a big boy. So I will go into why I chose this right now. So I was at the grocery store. You know, one of those trips to the grocery store where you go and you only need one thing, but you're like, well, if I'm here, I guess I'll look around and see if I need anything else. And I grabbed one of these bad boys, the original Arnold Palmer's, because I'm like, I haven't had one of these in a hot minute. They're great. My mom used to make half iced tea, half lemonade all the time. Wasn't patented at the time, but now it is by Mr. Arnold Palmer. They're 99 cents. They're a great buy.
Oh yeah.
They're very cheap, and you get a lot out of it, and it's delicious. And I was like, hey, you know what? I've had this spiked Arnold Palmer before, but I haven't had it in probably since last summer. So they're a great summer drink. So I figured I'd pick them up and try them out and see if they've changed anything up. So
there you go. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm a huge Arnold Palmer fan. AP, we call him, my friends and I. And
pouring out.
So good. And yeah, that big can Arizona. Although if you buy them at Circle K, they're fucking like $1.29.
Circle K.
Yeah, that's like the store attached to like mobile gas stations.
Oh, damn inflation, man.
You got to read the labels. They're like specially labeled for certain stores. They're not always 99 cents.
You know what that reminds me of is when they used to have songs you would buy on iTunes for 99 cents and then they bumped them up to $1.29.
Yep.
It's
like the singles are $1.29. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Thanks, Obama.
Yep.
Anyway. Yeah,
I also have had this years ago, like handful of years ago. Wasn't a huge fan of it. Curious to see if it's different now. So here we go. Shall we?
Pop the top, baby. And I know we just did an iced tea and vodka drink, but I figured we only got a couple weeks left of summer. Got to try out some more summer drinks. So
that's it. Cheers.
I'll drink to that. Cheers, my friend. That's good. That's very good. I like it.
That's better than I remember it.
Right? So I was drinking this last episode when we were doing our previous recording. I don't know if you saw me sipping on one already. This is my second one that I've had.
Yes.
And I don't know what they did. I think they changed the formula up somehow. Maybe they did it before with vodka and it just didn't really work right.
Yeah.
But they got the blend down this year. I think they just freaking nailed it.
I remember when I did have it. First of all, I hate the can. I don't know about you, but I hate the design of the can.
Yeah. This one, the original is kind of classic. You know, you've got the pictures of the guy.
Oh,
it's just a full body picture of Arnold Palmer, right?
This just
got the Arizona logo.
Like, hey, I belong on a Christmas tree shop rack or an Ocean State job lot rack. Like this drink didn't do as well. I'm gonna go to this store now. But I understand they kind of have to make it different than the real can because you don't want kids to mistake it as a non-alcoholic beverage. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a better design by someone. I do appreciate the eye and spiked as a golf tee. I thought that was
cool. You know, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like a Mike's Hard Lemonade kind of look to it, and also it has it on both sides. But
yes, no matter how you
logo's always out, baby.
Yep. But my biggest gripe about this drink from when I had it years ago is it did not taste like Arnold Palmer. for some reason, the
Yeah.
iced tea and lemonade mix, when they did it with the alcohol, it just did not, it was not the same. This this tastes like an Arnold Palmer. So they fixed something. You're totally right. They
I agree.
totally fixed something because that is fucking delicious.
So
That's
yeah,
dangerous.
I
It's
agree.
dangerous.
I agree. Yeah. So the thing with Surfside, actually, I have one of the empty cans right here of the Surfside.
Yep.
The
And
thing
I
with
bought a
that,
4-pack and I just had one with dinner.
yeah,
Yep.
the thing with that was that the iced tea wasn't fantastic, but it was still pretty good. But the vodka was the good part because
Yes.
Stateside makes pretty good vodka. I think with this one, I think the iced tea is the shining part, but it's also just happens to be what a malt beverage. And I think that's the shining aspect is the other mixed in ingredients, you know? So I think you focus on that first and then add the alcoholic blend and make it taste good. And then you got yourself. And I mean, I still love Surfside, obviously. This is not a comparison of the two. They're both different lanes.
Right.
But yeah, I think whatever they did to switch up the formula, I think they really nailed it.
I know, Surfside isn't the featured drink this episode, but I wasn't on it. It was missing something. I like it. It's good, like you said, but it was missing something. And now having this, it's missing like a lemonade flavor. I would have loved for that to be like an iced tea lemonade vodka drink, just having the iced tea and the vodka. I feel like there was a layer missing. This just completes it. And I agree with you. This focuses on the flavors first, and then it happens to be a alcoholic beverage. They did something because this is delicious.
I agree. I'm still struggling to find what is in the spiked Arnold Palmers.
It's probably the same shit that's in like the Four Loco and the all. It's just a malt. They just add.
I think it's just like some kind of malts addition to it. Because I'm looking now, I'm finding because I literally just Googled what alcohol is in spiked Arnold Palmer. I'm finding articles from 2021. A spiked Arnold Palmer is 3 simple ingredients: vodka, lemonade, and iced tea. So I think before they used the vodka. So I think that's probably exactly what it was. So
is there anything on like their actual website?
It just says where is it? Enjoy this delicious, refreshing Arnold Palmer taste you already love, now with alcohol. Made with real juice and select teas, it's the perfect beverage for good times with good people. And then he scrolled down, same thing. Tastes like a hole-in-one feels. The refreshing flavors of lemon and iced tea mixed together for the perfect midday drink. It doesn't even say it has alcohol in that second one. So they have different versions of this. They have the regular one. They have Arnold Palmer Spiked Light, which only has 100 calories and 2 grams of sugar. They have Arnie's Spiked Iced Tea. They don't call it Arnold Palmer. So it's Arnie's Spiked. It's just iced tea with whatever malts. It's just like black tea. And then they have Arnie's Spiked Lemonade. So they split the two up and then separate them out.
Ooh, interesting. That's an interesting move.
Yeah.
Of them. Because I feel like that thing you saw about vodka iced tea lemonade, that might be like a homemade recipe, and they just call it an Arnold Palmer,
maybe.
But yeah, damn, that's good. I really hate to see how much sugar is in this thing.
Oh shit, I did not look at that.
Yeah.
I don't think it has the on this one. It doesn't have the nutrition facts. It's
don't
probably
have
on the box. I can go get the box. Here, you know what, Joe? Just for you, I'm gonna go get the box.
Wow,
Good 12-pack.
What a guy.
Ugh. I got a whole like 12 cans of it.
You did the old man like when you get up.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
You did like the old man like
I'm getting up there, Joe.
You're getting up there. I just turned 33.
Hey, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
So I hate to tell you this. It doesn't say on the box.
I feel like that's against the law, isn't it? Like, don't you have to release the nutrition facts?
I feel like you should, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, like you tell me, like nothing here.
Nope.
Nothing here.
Nope.
Nothing there.
Nope.
That's where I opened it. Top has nothing.
Nothing.
The bottom has nothing.
Wow.
Like,
dang.
I would be the first one to let you know, but it does not have it. So they're trying to keep.
I like the box design. The box design is good.
Yeah.
Something about the can. Something about the can. I don't know.
You're a very aesthetic man, so
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
little tough.
yeah. These are
But
5%, by the way. I don't know if we said that,
I
but
did.
5%.
I did see that. It says it right at the top of the can.
Hmm.
So,
I
which is
will
good.
say,
I like. Sorry, continue. I don't want to interrupt.
sorry, I kind of interrupted you. I'm like speaking off the cuff as we do here. Um,
You do you.
if this is on a rack with all the other Arizonas and the regular Arnold Palmer, kind of hard to tell that this is a alcoholic beverage. I mean, like the word spiked obviously gives it away, but if you don't, if you don't know what that word means, like if you're like 12 years old, it doesn't, the like 21 plus is very small. The
Mhm.
5% is very small on top. Like, I don't know. It's just interesting.
Drink has spikes in it. That's a weird
Yeah.
choice.
What is it, like caffeine? Is it a bang?
There is caffeine in it though.
Yeah.
I went to their FAQ page. It says, is there caffeine in the Arnold Palmer Spike? It says Arnold Palmer Spike contains caffeine derived naturally from their tea ingredients. The caffeine content is 35 milligrams per 12 ounces and does not contain any added caffeine. So it's just naturally put in there. They are not gluten-free though. It says no, Arnold Palmer Spiked and Arnie Spiked are not gluten-free. Golf, on the other hand, is 100% gluten-free. So there you go. Oh, corporation.
Arnie. Oh, Zona.
Or I think Arnie is long dead, I believe.
Yeah.
Actually, is he? That's a great question.
Oh.
Arnold Palmer. I hope I spelled that right. Yeah, he died in 2016, unfortunately. Rest in
Yeah.
peace. But he left on a great legacy of delicious drinks. And now this one, which is a malt beverage and is very delicious.
Have you ever seen the Sports Center commercial with him?
No.
He's in the ESPN cafeteria, and he's going up to the drink containers, and he's going to make an Arnold Palmer, and he does like a little bit of iced tea, a little bit of lemonade, back to the iced tea. But everyone in the cafeteria is like in awe watching him as if he's like playing golf.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I mean, everyone's like, wow. And it's just really funny that
That's pretty good.
the drink has made a cultural impact.
Yeah, I would probably say more people know the drink than the golfer at this point.
Right. Like, and to piggyback on that, they probably know Arnold Palmer through the drink, not so much his golfing
Yeah,
career.
yeah. Honestly, that's probably me. The same here,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a golf fan too. So I
Yep.
mean, he stopped golfing in like probably the 80s or 90s. So it's been a
Yeah.
while. But
Yeah. Yep.
yeah. What a delicious drink. I was
Very tasty.
I was surprised at how good it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. To transition a little bit now, I have chosen the album Hello Exile by the Menzingers. This album was released in 2019, and similar to the last album that I brought to the podcast, which was Always, it was introduced to me by my good friend Andrew Dalba. Shout out to Andrew, very good music taste. I believe he also introduced me to Jeff Rosenstock as well, so he definitely gave me some home runs there. They have been a cohesive band for a while now, since let me look. I don't have their immediate discography here, but they've been releasing stuff for quite a while now. I believe they're from New Jersey or Pennsylvania or something in that area. Their first album was 2007. So they've been around for a bit of time now.
Mm-hmm.
He introduced me to the album On the Impossible Past, their 2012 album, but something about it I just couldn't really get into, and I'm sure you've had album experiences like this where you get an album or you just listen to an album off the cuff and you listen through and it doesn't really stick with you by that first time. And then you wait maybe like a month or a couple weeks or whatever, you come back to it and something just opens up and you're like, holy shit, why did I not like this before?
Mm-hmm.
I've done that with a couple albums, and this album is like that. I listened to it. I remember when it came out, a couple of my friends were listening to it and I just couldn't really vibe with it. And then whatever happened, it just clicked with me. And
Cool.
a lot of albums that I really like have, deep thematic elements and storylines and arcs and whatever. This one is relatively straightforward. It just has like, themes of like Americana, classic rock, a little bit, even a little bit like country, but still keeping their like punkish rock. Maybe it says on Wikipedia they have heartland rock as their genre, other than punk rock. So they have that playing into it, but it's just catchy. I think there's just a lot of elements I can really sing along to, and I've been listening to it for a while now, and I know a lot of the lyrics. So, it's just a great album for me. Really has a lot of elements that stick with me. They release this on Epitaph Records, which I believe has a lot of other big name artists to it. I can't name off the top of my head, but they've been around since like the 80s. So, yeah, very interesting. Another thing that I should add too, they put this out. When did they put this out? October 4th, 2019. So they were touring the album, and I believe they were down in like Sydney, Australia, when COVID really started to pick up, and so they had to cut their tour like halfway through. They were in their worldwide tour, and then after that, they started teasing some songs off of this album, but solely acoustic, and they recorded it all virtually. So they have a whole sister album called From Exile, and it's just like acoustic cuts, a little bit more string instruments, and it's really interesting. There's a lot of cool cuts off of there. I believe High School Friend is really cool. Kind of sounds like a Bruce Springsteen song, and actually that's one of their influences that they name for this album. They named Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty as some of their biggest influences on this release. So I haven't really gotten too much into their other stuff. I should eventually down the line, now that I think about it, should listen to their other popular albums. But it's really just been this one for me that I've really been stuck onto. They also have themes of like US politics and climate change and kind of the downfall of America in their mind, kind of influencing the title of the album and the opener, kind of playing into that as well. So there are some aspects of it that do play into some of the grander themes of where they're living. So I really did enjoy it. I still do. It's just a lot of fun for me. So yeah, that's Hello Exile. And I'm interested in what you guys would say, because I usually bring some real big curveballs. Like I'll throw you just a random rap album or some other kind of thing that you guys aren't into, but I feel like this is a bit more down your guys' alley. So I'm interested in what you guys would think about it.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, it's funny how you learned about them or your last two albums from a friend named Andrew, because the last episode OAR, like I learned from my buddy Andrew, and he's been, a big musical influence on me, among others, like, of course, Mike and me on him. We all share music with one another, but holy shit, Andrew just texted me right now. It's that TikTok that is like, you play this sound and like the person will text you.
I played this sound and I manifested my dreams. It's like the weird crazy robot voice on there.
Yeah, that's insane. But he has shared a lot of music with me over the years as well. But this band, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You give us some curveballs, like what the hell? Like I still think about, what was that? The Money Store,
Death Grips. Yes,
Death Grips.
I gotta bring them back.
Fuck? Like I didn't know, and I hear, we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I hear, the band called the Menzingers. I'm like, okay, it's an odd sounding name. Like, what's this? Dude, I throw this on. By the second track, I'm fucking hooked.
Yes.
Like, you got it, man.
Yes.
Like, this to me, like, it's funny how they're describing this as like Americana and like classic rock. And what did you say? Like heartland rock?
Yeah, it's what it says on Wikipedia.
This to me is like high school throwback. Like this is emo rock. Like every song has that. And like that music is making a huge comeback right now. It's like nostalgic because, 20 years old now. And I'm kind of like into that right now, even more than I was back when it was new music. I'm like kind of getting into a little more now. This fits right into that, and it came out in 2019, and this is a really good album, man. I really enjoyed this album.
Good.
Um,
I do too.
yeah, it had some great songs on it, and God, it's raw. It's a band, it's a rock band, and it just each song makes you feel good, kind of like you're out at the at a club, you're in high school, like the uh, I don't know, like the preteen place where live bands go play music, and this is that, and it was really cool. And I do love the fact that you said they re-recorded some songs acoustically and called it From Exile. I thought
Yeah.
that's fucking genius. Like
You should
from
listen to that.
quarantine.
It's really interesting the way they
Yeah,
kind of flip some of those songs.
I will love that. I'm a big fan of that. I want to listen to some of their other stuff because this album really sparked my goose, or however you say
It
it.
really cooked my goose.
Really cooked my goose.
Sparks my goose.
I don't know, man.
And it's one of
Too
those
much
albums
Arnie for
too.
me.
It's one of those albums where not only is the music great, but the lyrics are very poignant and strong as well. Transitioning into the opener, America,
Yeah,
you're
let's do it.
freaking me out.
Yep.
Just really talking about the situation that America was in and still currently is in, and people don't really necessarily agree or disagree with whatever's going on in the public scene. Obviously, we won't jump into that, but I just love the chorus. Let's just start. To these sing-alongs of siren songs, to oohs, to ahs, to big applause. With all of my anger, I scream and shout, America, I love you, but you're freaking me out. It's like, God damn, I really do agree with that. And then you said it in just a way that I couldn't really think of before. And the music behind it is just so great. It's not really upbeat, but just has a lot of energy behind it. And it has one of those things where, you get, 2/3 of the way through, everyone kind of shuts down for the chorus except for one guy. And then they redo it again, and everyone comes in with a big drum fill, and it's great. I really do. This was the song that really pulled me in to not only this album, but this artist in general. And I'm sure it was the same with you too.
Yeah, I throw this on, like, again, I had no idea what to expect. Whenever you give me an album and I never heard of them, I try not to do any like preliminary research, because I want to experience the album and jump right into it and draw conclusions from that. But yeah, I mean, this was awesome. The band is great, and during the chorus they have that kind of like quarter note like snare drum that's very Bruce, like that's very oh my God, what the hell's his name? The drummer. Oh my God, Max Weinberg.
Yep.
Very Max Weinberg. So I do hear those elements in there, but yeah, I'm surprised. Do their other albums kind of sound like this kind of style rock?
A little bit. I feel like they're a bit more punky, I feel like. And I haven't listened to their other albums in quite a bit of time. It's really just been this one, which is kind of a shame, because I feel like I owe it to myself to do a deeper dive into their catalog. But
I remember you said you were listening to one other album. I didn't know.
On the Impossible Past. That was the one that he introduced me to. But again, it's one of those things where you listen to it for the first time, doesn't really settle in with you properly, and then maybe on re-listens down the road, it really does sit with you better. So, and that's the one he introduced me to. So I feel like that may be one of the better ones. And I know the album before this, what was it called? After the Party, did very well commercially. So maybe that's another one we do down the road, or maybe I just listen to or whatever it is. But yeah.
I'm just surprised, like a band putting out music that sounds like this instrumentally in, mid to late 2010s. This can fit right into, the My Chemical Romances and the Taking Back Sundays and the Fall Out Boys, like that era. And, it would do well back then. So yeah, I thought the opening track was really cool, and kind of almost like what's the word? Like a juvenile expression of what's happening in
Yeah.
our country. You know, like America, I love you, but you're freaking me out. Like that's how like someone in high school or someone young, like even my age, your age, would tell someone they're like dating, like, yo, like I love you, like this is awesome, but you're like kind of freaking me out. Like, what's going on here? Like, it really brought things back down to earth. It didn't really take themselves too seriously. It
Hmm.
brought it down to a really relatable playing field. So job well done by them.
Yeah. And reading more about this track on Wikipedia is pretty eye-opening. The guitarist and vocalist, his name is Greg Barnett. I don't know if he did the lyrics, but I believe he did. Describing the track, he says, as I was writing that song, I realized that it's kind of always freaked me out, especially coming of age during the Iraq War. I love so much about America, but I think you can't deny that there are some people in power who are absolutely evil, which I agree with totally. And I feel like a lot of people can say the same. So kind of bringing everyone in by saying, I love everything about this, but there are terrible aspects to it, and you're kind of scaring me in the direction that you're going. So I think that's just a great way of putting that. So
Yeah, for
just
sure.
a home run on the first track,
Yeah,
you really
right.
can't
Just saying
deny that.
things, some things aren't perfect, but you like them. Nothing's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely home run for sure. Great
I
song.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
Second
After
song,
after that we
Anna.
got Anna. I love
I
this one
think
too.
I love it. This I think I like this one better than the opener.
That's fair.
That how it opens. I'm not. I want this made very clear. I am not saying that I am a Simple Plan fan, but
Okay.
the way it opens, just has that Simple Plan, like emo rock, like fun, just young, like energetic vibe to it, and it's just it is
Let me be
just
clear.
awesome. Let me
I
be
am not
clear.
a Simple Plan fan.
No,
However,
you gotta do the thumb like that. Yeah, yeah.
the song gets the Joe Sod seal of approval.
Dude, this song rocks, man.
I
This is a
love this song
great song.
too.
Yeah.
This song is even like okay, so these two were also singles. So this one was announced, or this song was released as they announced the album as well. So released the single and announced the album on the same day, which is cool.
Cool. Okay.
And I think this album, like lyric wise, I should probably look into it, but he's like talking about this girl who does so much for him, and he's just kind of like not really
Into it.
reciprocating or respecting
Yeah.
that kind of love. And she moves out and he gets really sad about it. He's like, I have so much to tell you. Please come back to Philadelphia. This place ain't the same without you, Anna. And so he's kind of had this love struck opinion on it, and it comes back later into the album as to why those things didn't really work out. So there's kind of a loose storyline kind of going through. I haven't really done a huge delve into some of their lyrics, even though I can sing a fair majority of this album, which is a lot of fun in the car. I learned one of these songs on guitar, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was I Can't Stop Drinking. I learned on guitar, even though it's not one of their
Yep.
most popular ones, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, this song is just great. I think this song is the most like wide open. This
Mhm.
is reminiscent of Springsteen and all those kind of Jersey artists, kind of just hit the ground running, trying to become a name, trying to make something of yourself, and keep that kind of heartland aspect, active as well. And I think
Mm.
this one isn't really as punky, but still keeps that energy up.
Yeah.
And someone described it as a grand romantic plea to a significant other who's away too much.
Mhm.
It was considered to show the band's evolution from the band's older punk rock style to a more heartland rock inspired sound. So there you go.
Yeah.
Just exactly what I was saying. So
See, emo rock and punk are different. Like I
mhm.
was I was talking to my yeah, I was talking to myself earlier today.
I do the same thing. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah. But I was reflecting back on that whole genre and all those bands. Like, I do not include Green Day or Blink 182 with those emo rock bands because they're
Hmm.
punk rock. They existed before that whole genre took place.
Hmm.
They're punk rock. But this song, this I don't hear punk either, but God, it just has those emo elements, like, right
Mhm.
after the second verse, like the drums cut out and it has that quick like chicka chicka, the guitar, and then it
Yep.
goes into the chorus, and it's just emotional, and it's like you feel it and you just want to sing along. Like the hook, the chorus is very
Much
like
to
Taking
tell
Back
you.
Sunday-ish. Like,
A little
uh,
bit.
God, it just, oh man, it's just a great song. It's a great song. I'm like
Yeah,
jazzed up about it.
I know. And I'm
Yeah,
glad that's one of the best feelings to me is when I
yeah,
give someone an artist and they really fuck with it. So thank you
yeah,
for doing that.
yeah. That's
And
why we do this.
I'm in the same vein, I always talk about our good friends over at last.fm where I keep tracking my music history. This is one of those albums that I've just listened to on repeat for
Mhm.
a while now. And it's only
Yeah.
I've been tracking since like 2017. And this
Mhm.
album came out in 2019, and it's been one of my most listened to albums of all time.
Yeah.
I'm pulling it up right now to see what number it is, like ranked 25th. It's my 25th most listened to album since like the middle of 2017,
Mhm.
if every they're called scrobbles, so every track listen is a scrobble, and so I have
Okay.
608 of them, which it's
Scrabble.
on a 12 track album is I've
Interesting.
definitely put my time in listening to this
Yeah.
album, and it deserves it. It's a fantastic album.
This is a definitely like, I'm throwing this album on and I'm gonna fuck with it, and beginning to end, and like even put on like loop it, like when it's done, start over again. Like,
Yeah.
this is that album. Like, it's a great listen from beginning to end. I definitely agree with you on that.
Next track is High School Friend, though.
Yes, it is.
Menzingers in that same lane, still a great track.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit less open, but
Hmm.
still has those same mantras that they've been kind of pushing throughout the whole album.
Yep.
What's the line that I really loved? Driving down 191, there's an old memory of someone as a little white cross just popping out from the bends. I was getting fucked up with high school friends.
Yep. I
It's just
love
kind of
that.
like a cool kickback. Like you're going
Yeah.
about to hang out with your high school friends, wondering where all the good times went.
Yep.
This is like a nostalgic track, trying to regain your youth a little bit as you get a little older, and
Hmm.
you know it's a good feeling, and just a great I love the album. I love it.
Yeah. And instrumentally, it does a great job at providing sounds and music to match those nostalgic
Yeah.
lyrical content. Like, this is, it's just I don't know if it's because like I went to high school during this sound, like when this sound was big. Maybe that's it, and it's just hitting me at the right time, like now that I'm looking back at that. But yeah, man, this is just, it's just a great track, and the drummer is good. The drums sound fantastic, and
Hmm.
the band just sounds great. It's exactly what you want, like a rock band to sound like, and an album to sound like. It's not overly produced. There's not a lot of like synth on it.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, man.
I agree.
Yeah.
And this one, that when they turned it into an acoustic cut,
Hmm.
it was even better. I think
Cool.
this is
Okay.
like one of the only ones where the acoustic, like, and it's not just solely acoustic. They I think they have like a harmonica in there and
Hmm.
like some kind of strings, and it's the only one where I think that version is almost just as good, if not better, than the
Cool.
original cut. So I would definitely recommend checking that one out later too.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just another good one. It's not the
Definitely.
best track on the album, in my opinion, but
I was going to
it's
say the same thing. But it fits in. It's a good piece of the puzzle. It's a good complement to some of the bigger songs.
yeah. This one has a pretty decent flow into the next track too. It kind of just leaves that note kind of hanging out for a bit and then joins back in. There's no like
Oh, is this
real
that one where
downtime.
it gets really loud? Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. Last to Know is the track right after that.
Hmm.
Um, Slows it down a little bit, but still,
Oh no, this is
in my opinion. Oh no, you're thinking of
later on.
yeah, I think it's the end of this track into Strangers Forever.
It could be.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I like this one. Another kind of reflective track. starts off, Jesus Christ be damned, I held the dagger in my hand, I killed another man. Pictures carved and sewn, see your reflection in your phone, and no, we're not alone. It's like, I love the lyrics on this too. It's just like so raw, like you were saying before. It's got those reflective elements, like you were saying. This one I feel is almost a little like trying to hold back a secret a little bit. You're the last to know what it is, because cemetery walls, Klonopin and alcohol, tonight won't start a fight. You barely made a sound, we put your mother in the ground, some words you're never found. He's like a poet. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. And like instrumentally, by this time, what is this, track 4? It's a good, like, slower song.
Exactly.
It's a change of pace while not straying too far from the overall style and themes. Yeah, great. I mean, it's just a good solid track.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, like a minute in, when the instrumental cuts out and it's just him singing. Sounds very much like Billy Joe Armstrong. Very, very Green Day.
Yeah, very Green Day-ish, very punky. Yeah, definitely.
They go on and on. Like that kind of
the enunciation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Another. I like this one though.
Yeah.
It kind of gets a bit more heavier, and everyone kind of builds up later into the track. So it's not just like a slower version, but still pretty good.
Right. Now I think, this is the where the ending like gets really, really, really loud with the guitar ringing out, the feedback, and then it goes right into the.
Oh God, I love Strangers Forever.
Dude, Strangers Forever, man. Great.
It's got that good drums.
Yep.
Yeah. My inner monologue is writing. Oh my God, it's so fucking good. And so some desire. I know. I could gush over
I was listening to this today. Was the first day I listened to this album, and I'm like, God damn, this is fucking good. I think I listened to it like 3-4 times today.
Yes.
And it's just a great listen. Great album.
I love the alliteration of my miserable memories making me more miserable.
Yeah.
And then my mundane mind is waiting on some kind of miracle. Just I know lyrics aren't necessarily our wheelhouse, but also the music behind it is just as good. And this kind of picks up the tempo a little bit, kind of brings that energy right back up. This, I believe, was a single. Yeah, it was the last single released.
Okay.
It was inspired by Leo Tolstoy's novel Anna Karenina. Barnett, the Greg, the guitarist and vocalist, he says the idea of becoming a stranger to someone you love so intimately stuck with me and became the overarching narrative to the song. So I thought that ties into Anna, the track before, of just kind of, oh shit, well, you're not here anymore, that sucks. This one is like, well, we might as well have been strangers the entire time. He's kind of trying to rationalize it a little bit.
Right.
But I love that chorus, man.
Yep.
Where is it? Maybe it's for the better we both stay strangers forever. Maybe it's for the best we pretend like we never met. Forget everything that we've ever known. Maybe it's for the better we both stay strangers forever. So really tugging at the heartstrings. But I just love it, man. I really can't. Everything I've said everything before. I'm just repeating myself at this point.
Good pick. It is. It's
waiting for it.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you and Mike to be here for this one, because I feel like it would be up his alley too. But it's just hard to line all of us up now.
I know. I'd be curious to hear his take on this.
Yeah.
I just don't like. He's like all over the place now, and musically, and I'd be curious. Yeah.
He needs to get back to his roots. This reggae shit.
Oh God. Yeah, great track.
Yep.
What's next? Title track.
The title track, yeah. Hello, Exile.
I remember when I hit this first couple times, I remember it was just okay for me. at least musically or instrumentally, nothing really jumped out to me. Um, so I don't know. I couldn't really. It's good. It's a good song. You know, it fits in with everything. But there's definitely ones I like more than this. How about you?
Yeah. And I think that's just because, we had such a great run of tracks, and I think this still fits into it. I really love this track too. I
Yeah,
think
agreed.
there's only like maybe one or two tracks on this album that I am not a huge fan of.
Mhm.
This one I think nails it as well. Obviously it's a bit slower of a tempo, but I think his singing really shines on this track
Mhm.
when he gets to that chorus. Kind of explains the meaning of the album, why he's in this exile state. His outlook on life is kind of failing him, his love life is failing him. I'm sure his mental state wasn't necessarily the best, but he's still kind of trying to have a positive outlook, I guess, saying
Mhm.
hello to being in exile. So, and I'm sure they didn't necessarily mean to have that double meaning as to, once COVID started to hit, like, oh shit, now we're in exile.
Yeah, right. Yeah, worked out.
Yeah. And I love the line, we fell in love under impossible smiles. Life was perfect if just for a little while. Like, that's a really like Americana heartland kind of thing. Like, as long as we're happy for this moment, then what the hell? We're happy for right
Right.
now. Don't worry about the future. Just
Mhm.
kind of keep your head in the present and try
Yeah,
to, I don't know, get a better outlook.
it's almost like he's living through like different stages of grief,
Yeah,
like throughout the album. You know,
almost. Yeah.
like the what was it? The last track, he was
Oh,
kind of
farewell youth.
justifying. Yeah, he was kind of justifying like maybe we shouldn't have been no, what was it? Perfect strange, no, stranger forever. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have known each other at all, like forget everything. So that's kind of like the denial of it. And then hello exile, now he's kind of like making peace with it and like valuing for what they had at that time, so
I
it's
mean, yeah.
showing
Well, if
growth.
you're looking at the five stages, this is almost
Yeah,
like bargaining in a sense, because he's talking
right.
about uh like the good times, like, if we could still do that, maybe that would be a good thing.
Yeah,
There are some angry points in Strangers Forever, I think, because it's denial in the beginning, then it's anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance, I think, is the last stage of grief.
yeah,
So you definitely see that in the album. I feel like we're in like the bargaining section because we're like right near the middle half,
yep.
and you
Denial,
see,
anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance,
yeah, and
acceptance. Right. Yep.
you see a lot of the depression aspects, and like I can't stop drinking, and parts of like London drugs or whatever. And I think Farewell Youth is kind of his acceptance of like, I'm not a kid anymore. I have to, come to terms with everything. And that's actually a great way of looking at this album, Joe. I'm telling you, it's like an onion. You peel back layers every time you listen to it.
And that's it. Yeah. I mean,
I love those
I
albums.
I can relate to a lot of themes on this album for sure. And the more I hear you talk about the lyrics, because it just is not the first thing I listen to, but man, like now hearing your interpretation of it, I'm like, I can, pull a lot from this. And I almost want to, next time I pull this up, listen to it in a, from a lyrical focus. And
Yeah.
a lot is connecting. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. Next track, Portland.
Portland.
Love this song.
Okay.
Great song. I just something about it. I
I
was
think it's
just
the drums. I think it's the drums,
I think it's the
honestly.
drums. Oh God, I don't mean to be biased, but drums just do so much for songs. Like they
It's the
really do.
anchor.
But yeah, and then that was very Brucey.
Oh yeah, for sure.
God, the band they just really come together on this song, and really the whole album. Like it's just a great rock song.
This makes me so happy, by the way.
It's just a really good feel good song.
this
I'm not
this was
sure what
the
it's about, but
this is the same feeling I got when I gave you Logic, The Incredible True Story, and you kind of
I love
hyped that one up too.
Yeah, that was
It's
great.
I love that feeling of giving someone an album and they're like, this is great, thank you. And you're like, I did this.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like our other moments like that. If I ever shared any, I don't know if I ever anything
Wasting Light.
Yeah, Wasting Light. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say something like that.
Episode 1.
So, I've
Great
actually
job,
been
Joe.
you started off strong and it was just all down. No, I'm just joking. Of course.
I know.
I feel like this track is right on that line of between bargaining and depression, because you've got the chorus where he's like, bring the part of me you love back.
Yep.
You know, oh Allison, I love you, but I can't change the past. I also love the line, we're two strings shaking in a minor chord. Wow. You know, because you can't just have one note be a minor. You know, you need to have both of those aspects to make it that melancholy feeling. So without one, the other one isn't the same. And so you put those two together and it creates just a totally different feeling of sadness, of
Jesus.
Right?
It's just it's really great songwriting. It's great lyrics. It's great
Barnett
musicianship. Yeah.
I'm sure the other people in the band contribute as well. You've got Tom May on backing vocals and lead guitar, Eric Keane on bass, and Joe Godino on drums, just to let you guys know. So
yep.
Yeah. Next track, Strain Your Memory.
A
little bit more not like upbeat, but a little bit faster.
Yeah, it's pulsating. It's energetic.
Pulsating. Wow, that's a good one.
Pulsating.
Oh.
His singing style, the way his reminds me of a band that I can't remember the name of.
I mean, he does have like Green Day elements to him, but not necessarily that heavy,
Yeah, but there's this one band. I'm gonna have, if you want to like keep talking, I'm gonna.
You want me to fill? Push for time. This one, surprisingly, I'm not like a gigantic fan of. It's one of the longer ones. Actually, I Can't Stop Drinking is the longest one, but yeah, I still enjoy it. It's still, incredibly listenable, and I think his singing really does shine, like we were saying before. This one is a little bit more vocal, not heavy, but I think it definitely draws the most attention to it. So, and yeah.
Something about this chorus I just love. When he sings the word strain your memory.
Strain your memory.
It's just feel good music, feel good rock. So I found the band. Vocally, singing wise, he sounds like the singer from this band called Motion City Soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but this song their biggest song was Everything Is All Right. And they're one of those, 2000s emo bands. And, later on, if you pull up that track, I'm curious to hear if you hear similarities in their voices.
Yeah, like you were saying, the chorus, I never actually like really listen as to what he says on there, but the chorus is, could a diamond in the rough ever be enough? I've been mining for your love since the day that we met. I've spent every second in your minefield digging it up. Like a mining reference in the chorus about love, and it makes perfect sense. Like,
it makes perfect, right?
And then it's, can you strain your memory back to the times when trouble wasn't always on our minds? So again, another kind of recollection of the past when you were in this love state and it not working out. So there is a relative theme of lost love on it that carries through. And I think that's enough of a thematic element that really carries the album forward.
Yeah, for sure.
And it is going through those stages of grief.
Yeah, I definitely hear it. Oh, nice. Good shit.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done. What's next? I Can't Stop
Drinking. This one, surprisingly, it's not really like a lot of the other tracks. It's the only one that's 5 minutes, a little bit more, well, definitely a very, very slower. almost kind of like sloggy after a while if you're not really into it, but I really do enjoy it.
Mhm.
This one, I think he's at his lowest emotionally. This is like the saddest part of the album, and it really does show like champagne drunk, tomorrow's out of luck. Like this one explains why Anna left him. Um, he says, "I'm whiskey drunk in the ShopRite parking lot. I'm waiting while Anna buys milk and eggs. Sometimes I wonder why she hasn't found another one that her girlfriends would recommend."
Wow.
And my favorite line, well, favorite, not obviously it's not like a happy moment, but like
Yeah.
just you listen to, you're like, oh shit. And he's our worst fights are when we get silent, just a disappointed you shaking your head. When the cards and flowers don't work, I sleep on the couch and I'm a jerk. It's like, oh fuck. So I know what you're thinking, that I can't stop drinking. Every time you ask me to, I just throw a fit and storm out of the room. It's like now he's kind of getting to that point of why this didn't work out. And it's just so
Realizing
heartbreaking.
reality.
Yeah, so heartbreaking, so raw. Kind of coming to terms with why it didn't happen and that kind of self-reflection. It's just so potent, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this kind of feeling. And yeah, it's just again, like I said, it's just raw, and it's just real,
Yeah.
so I can relate. So
Yeah. They can relate. Oh, you're
well,
right.
not to drinking, like I'm not addicted.
Okay.
Actually, I
Talking
really
about
haven't
those
been
Arnie Palmies.
throwing back some Arnie Palmies.
Yeah.
Actually, other than the show, I really haven't been drinking that much, which is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. If I do, summertime, I'm a big seltzer guy. I just can't drink beer out. It's just too heavy and it's too hot out.
Hmm.
And shit. It like weighs you down.
Yeah,
Um,
especially when it gets like too hot and then it
mhm.
just cools off, and a hot beer is disgusting. I will
Yeah.
say that the spiked like iced tea lemonade things, not that bad when they're warmer too. Like obviously you want to serve it chilled,
Right.
but
Right.
when it gets like a little bit more room temperature, it's still very drinkable.
Hmm.
I got them maybe like 3-4 hours ago. I put this one in the fridge, but I had the other one just sitting around, and it still tasted pretty great. But
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. They did something to this and it tastes different than it did
they
years ago, and it's
put
much
a
better
little bit of crack in there,
now.
just a
Secret
smidge
ingredient.
of crack,
Just a little
just to,
bit.
just to keep you coming back.
Ah, tweaking. But yeah, this song, it they do a really good job at choosing tempos and musical styles to match the lyrical content. Like you could tell these like you said, at his lowest, reflecting on why a relationship didn't work, and you don't want like an up tempo punk song
Yeah,
musically to match that mindset. This does a good job. It's slower, it's wide open, like you can really get into his shoes and his mindset of where he's at.
yeah.
So kudos.
And I don't want this to be the Tom reads lyrics show, but the last line right before that last chorus is really potent for me. It was love's a cruel, cruel joke when the tools in the shed can't fix what's broke, so you leave it broke. And
Right.
that's just like, you don't have the ability to improve yourself, so you just don't, and then you just get worse because of this love that gets lost, and you can't really understand why. So this is kind of like his own little mini therapy session,
Mhm.
and it's real. It's really, really potent, and it's stuck with me pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And it really like is the shining jewel in the second half of this album for me, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that. I mean, that last line, man, that's pretty powerful. And his I forget what that's called, his symbolism, like the way or metaphors.
Yeah, I'd say metaphor.
He's using a broken shed and leaving it broken, or the
Yeah,
diamond and mining it, like, but it makes total sense.
yeah,
Great job. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, yeah.
great songwriting. What's next? Strawberry
Strawberry
Man
Mansion.
picks it back up. You know,
Yeah, that was the last song. Was like, all right, you got the sadder track out, and now we can kind of pick up the energy a little bit.
yeah. This one has a lot of like not the song American Idiot, but that album by Green Day.
Okay.
That kind of feeling to it. Like, and I now in hindsight, I feel like Green Day was striving for that Americana vibe. So now it just makes a whole lot of sense
Hmm.
why a lot of songs on American Idiot sounded like this.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, musically wasn't necessarily like a shining moment, but it was just solid like the rest of the
Yeah.
album, you know.
Right.
It's not like the first like 6 7 tracks where you've got those really like standout lines and great music.
Mhm.
um the chorus is like, set a course for the sun into bittersweet oblivion, the time has come, the rain is gone, back to hell where we belong. It's like still pretty deep,
Yeah.
but doesn't really stick with you as much as some lines from I Can't Stop Drinking, or like Strangers Forever or something like that.
Mhm, mhm.
It's kind of tough to be like in this reflective down state and also keep this punky spirit with you too.
Right, for sure.
But it's still very, very listenable in
Yeah,
my
definitely.
opinion.
It fits right in with all the rest.
Hmm.
Yep. Um, After that, we have London Drugs.
This is, if I had to choose a least favorite, this is probably my least favorite.
Really? Okay.
I like the mantra of it, what's it got to take to fix me up? I don't want your London drugs. Kind of, you can't fix a problem with another problem, kind of keeping
Right.
that metaphor in place. And that's the growth that you finally get to after this entire album. Every once in a while when I'm in denial, I wind up doing something I don't want to do, which,
Mhm.
for someone that doesn't know how to cope with loss or, some kind of traumatic experience, makes sense. And I can understand that from a lyric aspect. But I don't know. It does sound a little samey once you get to this point. Like, you may have heard this beforehand in the album,
Yeah, I
but
can get that.
similar to Strawberry Mansion, very
Mhm.
listenable. I
Yeah.
still like the energy, and I still think that it keeps that same spirit from the rest of the tracks beforehand. So
Mhm. I think, yeah, the melody of the chorus vocally, it's a great hook. Um, I I like that. Your analytics of the lyrics, spot on, man.
I've listened to this album like, what, 600 something. Well, not the entire album, but like,
Right.
if one of those numbers is a track listen, I've listened to it 609 tracks
Yeah.
listens, I guess. So
Yeah.
I've listened to it a couple 2 3 times. So
Too
I can tell
true.
you exactly how many times I've listened to London Drugs, exactly, if you really want to know.
I do.
um
I'm dying to know.
it's everyone on the street has been asking me, Tom, how many times have you listened to London Drugs? And I'll tell you, it's 35 times.
Gonna be 36.
You know what, you're right.
Yep.
Strangers Forever, by the way, is my most listened to track at 100. I listened to that track
Really?
100 times exactly.
Okay.
Obviously,
Interesting.
there's a bit of difference just because I listen to tracks that I love all the time, and I put on the
Mhm.
playlist. I think I put that one on 2020, the playlist. So,
Yeah.
by the way,
Yeah.
2022 playlist still going strong.
Nice.
Go follow me on there. Anyway, plug done, plug complete.
What's next?
You got the closer after that. Farewell Youth.
Closer. Yep.
This is like the perfect closer for this album.
Agreed.
This is, you know, PA Turnpike northbound on a dark night, driving into Scranton for a difficult occasion. It's like, you're back home. You realize, like, these are my old stomping grounds. This is where I kind of became the man that I am now. And while I can't return to that person that I was before, I can learn from him and become a bigger man because of that. This is the acceptance arc that you've been looking for on the entire thing. This is the fifth stage of grief, and this album really needed it at this point. So
Mhm.
that's why I say for this album specifically, I think this is one of the better ways you can close it. You don't want to be on those high punky, not necessarily punky, but like, like you're saying, like emo rock or whatever it is, highs that you were on the first
Right.
half of the album.
Right.
This
Right.
is, but at the same time, it does keep those aspects in the same vein, you know. So I understand why this is the closer, and I think they really just nailed it. They really kicked the extra point, so to speak, I guess.
Nice.
It cooks my goose. It does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you could definitely tell by now, like they, whatever, have grown and matured, and it's just a much more mature sounding song. While it doesn't have those emo rock, like up tempo elements, it's still it's still emotional. Like it's still, you can still connect with it. You can still,
oh yeah,
feel it.
Yeah, I connect with this song a lot too, just be based off the chorus. Like, always in a rush, but I was never sure from what. I was always hanging out with the older kids, right? So always trying to keep up with the people that are a bit older than you to become in that same vein, growing. And I mean, just from the podcast, like, we've got a difference in age. I'm a good 5-10 years younger than you and Mike. And, even growing up at the lake, 5'10"? No offense. No, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not age checking. I'm beyond that.
How old are you?
I'm 24. About to be 25. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I just turned 33. Damn,
don't do the math. Don't do the math. It's
9 years.
Anyway.
Okay.
I'm just saying, personally, I can relate to this kind of mantra. He's kind of understanding why he was doing this. He was always trying to appeal to someone that he almost sees as like either a role model or a group of people who always saw him as like the runt of the litter almost. And even growing up at the lake, I know Mike can attest to it as well. I was the youngest by a fair margin. Even in my family, I'm the youngest on my dad's side by a bit too. So there's a lot of personal relation that I can see on this closer. And it's not necessarily the best track, but I think in terms of having the closer be this, I think they really just nailed it. And I can relate to it a lot, but too. So that's a good aspect.
Yep. What you're saying is pretty powerful. I don't think you have to be like a certain age to really come into who you are and realize where you've been. Like I'm kind of going through that now, and you're realizing who you are as an individual person. And me too. Like I was the youngest. I'm an only child, but I'm the youngest of all my cousins, and I always looked up to them and my family name and stuff like that. And now that I'm my own adult, I'm trying to not be like Joe Saad's son or Marilyn Saad's son. I want to be Joe Saad. And I think no matter where you are in your life, you can experience that.
Well put.
Man, this album, dude, really, we got deep here.
An album's good when it gets you so self-reflective,
Yeah. And listen, even before this, I connected to it because I could just tell by the sound that it's a very like moving album, and you can connect to it easily. And now that so much lyrical content has made sense, it's even better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, cool.
And that's the end of the album.
It is.
Wow. Let's get into some tracks before I start shedding a tear here.
I know. I'm holding it back, man. I am. Jesus.
I guess I'll start because it's my album.
It is.
I feel like I probably have cried to this album at one point or another, which should give it some bonus points. But regardless, favorite track. Fuck, I didn't think about this.
I know. I've been doing it on the fly lately.
I'll probably go with Strangers Forever, just because it's one of those songs where the lyrics are great, the music is great, like the performances are great. It's just everything, every aspect of it is just so perfect. And I've said it before, like the sum is greater than the parts or whatever. I don't know what the phrase is, but they just came together so perfectly on that track that you really knocked it out of the park. But I do want to give some shout outs to America, You're Freaking Me Out. That's kind of the main draw that brought me in, as well as Anna. I know I'm jumping the gun on you a little bit, but I like the first half, and I mean even the second half, it is a little bit more introspective and some a little bit sadder, but The first half really just is power through all the way. So
Yeah.
but if I had to pick just one, it would be Strangers Forever.
Hmm. Mine's Anna. I love this song. It's a great song, man. This is the one, like I told you, that I'm listening to the song and I texted you right away. I'm like, this is a good album, man. I'm really liking it. And
Yeah. I got a text from Joe and he's like, I'm 2 tracks in and I'm already in love with this or something like that.
yeah.
What is it?
And when when the album cycles around, you start to find the tracks that you gravitate towards, and this is one of them, and this is the one for me. And just a great hooky chorus, and oh man, the verses are great and the intro is great. Big fan. Anna, it is for me.
I agree. It's just so wide open. That's like the best way I can describe it, is like,
yeah,
you just hit the ground running and you're free to do like whatever you want. It's just like so liberating in a sense. So
agreed.
Bottom is going to be tough just because I like all the tracks. So, but if I had to choose one, it would probably be what, London Drugs, I think I said.
Yeah.
I love the sentiment of the track. I totally understand why it's there. Kind of completes that self-reflective art that you really wanted on the album. But just purely music-wise, it's just like a slightly dumbed down version of things that we've already heard on the album already. And that's really the only like critique I have of it. So if I had to choose one, it would be London Drugs.
It's funny. If I keep your same explanation you just gave, but tie it to Hello Exile, that's how I feel. Like, got nothing wrong with it. Great meaning, but just musically just didn't really do much for me. I think there's just better songs on the album. So I think I got to label Hello Exile as my least favorite track for myself.
Okay.
How about that Sleepy Dark Horse?
Joe, I've been leading the conversation. Why don't you start off with your Sleepy Dark Horse?
Dude, this is tough because
it is.
There's so many songs I want to give shout outs to on here. Because what were can you quickly say what the singles were again?
The singles were Anna.
Yep.
America, You're Freaking Me Out.
Yep.
And Strangers Forever.
Okay. All right.
Well, good thing I picked that for the favorite then.
Yeah, right. So like I can't pick Strangers Forever. I really like that one.
I mean, you can. There's no real rules on sleepers.
Yeah, but there's other tracks that I want to point out. God.
If you're not ready, I know what mine is.
Go ahead.
My sleeper is I Can't Stop Drinking.
Yeah.
It's just so different from every other track. It's much slower. Like the first like half or third or whatever it is just like him and a guitar kind of, I mean, with other instruments, but it's just like him spotlit on a stage, like at his lowest moment. Like he's understanding why he's in his scenario, and he's starting to understand why she left, and coming to terms with how not necessarily how he can change, but how he got himself into that position in the first place. And I think that's almost just as powerful as how you can fix it, So, very different, the longest track on the album, but I think it just is so shining. And the lyrical aspect of it too is just so fucking great. Like the mining for like the diamond in the rough line. And then, the other one, I don't remember the other one. It's good. I really liked I like that one. I'll leave it at that. I'm gushing.
You can't really go wrong with that one. I like it. It was a little too long for me.
That's fair.
But I appreciate for where it is in like kind of the arc we've been talking about. Dude, I don't know, man. I like High School Friend.
High School Friend is great, dude.
Portland. I like Strain Your Memory. I like Farewell Youth. God, like I just I don't think I could just pick one. I just think the whole album itself is a Sleepy Dark Horse. Like, I don't know how many people know this band, but if you're someone, I'm sorry, but if you're someone my age, you got to listen to this album, because this is really gonna tug at the heartstrings, musically and lyrically, because this is directly reminiscent of what we listened to in high school. And it's cool that someone, almost a decade younger than me likes music that sounds like this. And it just goes to show you that, music is music, and you can jump in whenever you want, wherever you want, with whoever you want, and
Yeah.
find something you like. So I don't, yeah, I think just the whole album is the dark horse.
I'm trying to keep up as we're doing these episodes with like my list of my like the ratings list that I've been doing.
Yeah.
And so for your Sleepy Dark Horse, I just put 5 other ones.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can't pick one. It's just a great listen. This is a
It
great
is.
listen. Yep.
Speaking of which, let's jump into some ratings then, if that's the case.
Okay.
It's not a 10 for me. It's not a
Mhm.
10, but it's very, very close. It's a 9.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
It's
high, man. Nice.
it is. It's
Yeah.
very high for me. It's as close to perfect as you can get, in my opinion. Not, I mean, it could be like a 9.7 or 9.8 or whatever, but I've been listening to it for 3-4 years now, and it really has been that emotional roller coaster in a sense where, not only is the music just that fantastic, it keeps up that loose narrative of falling in love and then having that person leave due to whatever circumstances you don't want it to end, but trying to cope in whatever way possible, trying to reconnect with some other kind of nostalgic part of your brain to get those feelings back. And then slowly over time, you realize that's not going to be that's only just a temporary fix. And then you got to come to terms with what happened and try to grow and thrive from that situation. So I think that's just a beautiful message you can get behind. And not only is that message great, again, the music is just on point. The drums, the performances, the singing is just really, really great as well. Everything comes together so well on this, and I cannot stop gushing about it. It's a great album. And once again, thank you to Andrew Dalba for introducing me to them. It was a blessing.
Andrew. Yeah, man, putting a number on this,
It's tough.
It really is tough because I wish I had more experience with this band and this album too. I mean, I listened to it a shit ton today, and it's not that long. It's only 45 minutes. It's not awful. God, I was hovering around all day today around like a 7.5, but hearing your take on the lyrics and then our kind of connection to the 5 stages of grief, that like bumped it up for me, because the music was great, the nostalgia was great, and now like the great songwriting, like the diamond in the rough and the mining and the broken shed, might as well leave it broke. Like that's just great.
That's
songwriting.
the other one. Yes.
Yeah. Do I give it an 8? Is this an 8?
I think it is. I think you should give it an 8.
Sure,
I think
fine,
you should give it
I'm
higher.
giving it an 8, man.
Good for you.
I'm giving it an 8.
Down the road, let's just give this an asterisk because
Yeah.
we've only been listening to each other's albums for like a day at this point. So
right.
maybe with repeated listens, like I said with the other album, it could get bumped up or get bumped down. But I think with this album, obviously I've given it a lot of listens. So down the road, maybe we do an amendment on it and see if we can bump that up a little bit.
For sure, like a revisited almost. But I know, like for me, not to drag on here, but for me, when we were talking about doing this podcast, when it comes to an album, for me is the beginning to end experience. And can you listen to it from beginning to end? And this has that. I mean, this is that. This is a shining point for them, and it definitely inspires me to listen to some of their other stuff. I want to check some of it out. So yeah, 8 bops for me
for now. Speaking of ratings, why don't we jump over to our spiked Arnold
Palmer Spiked. Yes.
I'm drunk. I'm sorry. I'm not. Also very great. It's not a 9.5 for me, but it's also very great. Hold on, let me give it one more sip and then just kind of judge the number I'm feeling, because I have a number in my head, but I'm not entirely sure if I want to commit to it just yet.
Yep.
So, like we said in the Surfside episode, you always come back to twisted teas. You know, that's kind of the most widely accepted, you know, iced tea malt liquor drink. But I feel with that's very sugary. It's, you know, I did it for my guilty pleasure for a reason, just because, you know, while I like them, I can't drink them all the time. So I think this is the new successor to twisted teas in a way. When I first had them,
twisted tea. That was your guilty pleasure, I remember.
I am a twee stan, if you will. Which is the first time that sentence has ever been said. If you said I'm a twee stan to like a 17th century Victorian era like royal, they would not know what the fuck you were saying.
Not one clue. Yep.
And I don't want to compare Surfside to Spiked Arnold Palmer, because they're very different. They incorporate two different types of liquor, but the drinkability, the body of this drink, and the summery vibes, I think all shine very heavily with this one. So I think, just to be, you know, political, I will give it the same rating I gave the Surfside, which is an 8.5.
Okay.
I think they both serve their own purpose in their own way. But whatever the new formula was for this one just really clicked for me. So yeah, Spiked Arnold Palmer, I think I'm comfortable sitting around an 8.5.
8.5. Wow, very good. Okay, cool.
Very positive episode for me.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's good too. You know, it's a Monday night, you know, week's just beginning. It's good to like have some positivity early. Yeah. Fuck yeah, right? Okay. You know, last episode I was saying how the album took the best of all their different sounds and put it together. The beer took the best of my favorites of West Coast and New England IPAs and put it together. This episode is the exact same thing. This album is nostalgic as fuck for me. This brings me right back to high school too. We were drinking APs every day at lunch, like, you know, or on the weekend or whatever it was. This shit tastes like regular Arnold Palmer.
Yes.
And even now, like I'm like here, which is more than I thought I'd drink. That's a tall drink. And God, this tastes like Arnold Palmer, even towards the bottom. Like, you know, like towards the end of the drink, like the alcohol might take over or whatever. Dude, they got it right on this, you know? Rating, Jesus. I mean,
it's tough.
It is tough.
I will say that to speak on your behalf, just to give you a little bit more time. Yeah, like I said before,
it's going to be an hour and a half long.
Just might be. You know, with the Surfsides, the vodka was the main draw, and the iced tea was just something that brings it together, but it wasn't theirs. You know, it wasn't the main show. This one, the iced tea is the main show, and the lemonade. Yeah, exactly. So, I think just a really, really good mix of everything. You know.
Yeah.
You have a number now? 7.5. Okay.
7.5.
Okay.
They just did a great job sticking to the Arnold Palmer taste, but making it alcoholic and not trying to like redo the formula. This tastes much better than it did years ago. I don't know why. I don't know if they changed anything. Who knows? Maybe they didn't, and we're just fucking fooled.
Placebo.
Yeah, exactly. But that was fantastic. 7.5, which is odd because now I don't like comparing episodes, but I rated that higher than the beer from last episode. I don't know what that says about me.
It's more drinkable in my opinion. Obviously, I haven't had the Blue Point, but it's something. Yeah, it's more applicable to a lot of different things.
I will say I do think I like this a little better than the Surfside. The Surfside was good, but like I said about 3 hours ago now, I think the Surfside is missing the lemonade. If they did a vodka iced tea lemonade, I think that would have been a fucking home run. But that's okay. It's still good. It's still a good drink, but this is really good. 7.5.
All right. Well, We are now in hour 12 of this episode, so why don't we wrap it up by shouting them out?
It's like Channel 13, like PBS, like Peloton.
Do you know where your children are?
Shout them out. Let's do it.
I've got them ready. Arnold Palmer Spiked on Instagram.
Okay, cool.
Just all Arnold Palmer Spiked, and then their website I have pulled up over here as well, arnoldpalmerspiked.com. Go check them out if you'd like. And then the Menzingers, just the Menzingers on Instagram. I don't have their website pulled up just yet. I will pull it up right now. Themenzingers.com. There you go.
Cool.
Is
the in the Instagram handle? Sorry.
Yes, the is in
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like they're on tour right now. They're just doing a lot of like festivals. Cool. They're at like Riot Fest over in Chicago, Lincoln Calling, all those kind of things. So
I hope they come around here. I'd like to go check them out.
I'd love to go see them.
Yeah.
I think when they were touring this album, I think they went to Toad's Place, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh God, that must have been fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's like a perfect place for them. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. So
yeah.
What a good episode.
Great episode.
That was a good one.
Well done. Wow.
Speaking of good episodes,
up.
Next episode 100. How the fuck have we done 100 episodes?
Dude, I don't know, man. 100. Like that's like 2 years worth of this.
Almost.
Yeah, 100, man. It's awesome.
Started in August of 2020.
Yeah, I think September was our first episode release. September
started smack dab in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah,
talking around a campfire. Hey, we should start a podcast, and then it just became that. I'm sure we'll get more gushy about everything next week when all three of us will be there.
Definitely. For sure.
But yeah,
we got to find a time to get together and record, and it's going to be a gush fest for sure. Yeah. Maybe we'll bring some of our favorite drinks on the episode, and
we might even be back in the spot where we conceptualized the podcast in the first place, which is at the lake. So
that is true. I remember out hitting the golf balls. That's where it was. Three of us started talking. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
Damn. I remember on the drive home too. Oh, we could talk more about this, but the drive home, we trying to come up with a name, and I was texting as I was driving. How about like hops bops? We got to do that. Do we want hops and bops, or what about bops and hops? And both of you are definitely hops and bops, and and there it is.
I agree.
Yeah, awesome. I can't wait for next episode. It's going to be cool.
Yep.
Maybe we'll be joined with some other people too. I don't know. We have so many ideas. We'll see what we can do, but it's going to be a celebration nonetheless of some good times, good friends, good music, and good drinks.
Absolutely. Well put.
Yes.
You're an orator.
That's what it is. I try. So are you, man.
Oh.
Let's do it. So Hops and Bops Podcast, thank you so much for checking us out. Thank you for listening to this episode and all others. Check out our back catalog. We covered all types of drinks, all types of music, all different styles of episodes too. So thank you so much. Check us out on all the socials, Hops and Bops Podcast. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to us, watch us. We're on all the big ones. And thank you for your support over the last couple of years. And we're excited to keep it going. So for Tom, I've been Joe, and we'll see you next time for 100. Peace.